Hi guys, this is Jen Shahade for Run It Once, and today we're going to do something a little different with our open phase videos. I am in Israel at the moment, and I recently downloaded this open phase Chinese poker client, Tonybet, where you can play cash games and sit and goes in tournaments in open phase, mostly Pineapple. One of the reasons it's so important to me to play on this site now, and why I think it's good to be able to do some videos from this site, is that we can play three-handed. On the app, we're only playing heads up. This is really important for me, especially with the World Series of Poker coming up, because a lot of the live action will be three-handed. Last year at the World Series of Poker, when everybody was playing regular open face, I kind of made an error in that I studied a lot of heads-up open face right before the tournament, and when I got there, I guess I was thinking that there'd be a lot of private games and I could get a lot of heads up action, but in the end, it was mostly four-handed and three-handed, and really the strategy and the math is very different because there's so many more cards exposed. Your chances of getting any particular card become a lot higher if they're not exposed. And the same is exactly true in Pineapple. So basically, if you've been playing too much heads up and then you switch to playing three-handed and Pineapple, which is similar to classic open face, you might be playing too conservatively because you either subconsciously, if you're more of a feel player, or just because if you're more like me and you've done a lot of math, it's like you might be kind of remembering statistics that are based on heads up and not on three-handed. To give a concrete example, let's say you have a direct draw to get the fantasy land. You have a king up top and you need another king on your final draw to get the fantasy land. There are two kings left in the deck and you're first to act. Your chances of getting that king are 20%, and they only change to 21.5% if you're on the button, so even just memorizing 20% is pretty sufficient. Well, if you have that exact scenario in three-handed, your chances go from 28% first to act to 35% on the button, so a pretty massive difference. And of course, again, that's because the fact that there are so few kings exposed means more when there are fewer total cards left in the deck, right? So another thing you can notice about that is that position matters more. The more players that are playing, the more being on the button changes the math. So it's fine to memorize 20% heads up, but if you were to memorize 28% for three-handed with two cards for a direct draw and one remaining draw, you would be way off. So these are the types of things that are important differences between three-handed and heads up. Now in our live play video, I warn you there's not going to be a lot of time to do these mathematical calculations because we are going to be just trying to beat the clock. In fact, it's a pretty fast-paced website, which I like. It makes it a little bit hard to multi-table, but I mean, my friend who grinds on this site all the time says that he tends to play 2 or 3 tables at once at the most, and good luck playing open face on the side while you're also playing an MTT or like no limit tournament. I tried it. It's not recommended. So this definitely takes full attention, and let's get into it.
All right, let's see. How are our opponents this time? What? Oh, Alcimo must be sitting out because that's what happens if you're sitting out. They just put your cards all in the back like that. Mr. Lava is going to put the ace in the middle and the 3s and the 10 in the back. Okay, that's weird. All right, well, we are going to play the nitty set here and just go for ace high flush. The other option would be to try to put the ace in the middle, but don't really like that. Yeah, I don't really like this set at all. I think he should be putting, I understand the 4. Okay, so there's 110 dead, so that's why he put the 3s with the 4. Okay, maybe it's all right. Yeah, I wasn't really looking as closely at this. I just noticed that he's sitting out. All right. Okay. Well, this is one of the reasons why I'm glad I didn't put the ace in the middle, because now I think it is kind of valuable to continue. Let's see, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I still got 5 outs to the flush, and I think it's kind of close here, but I think it's worth it to just gamble. He just got there right away. Nice. And how's our opponent doing here? As I mentioned earlier, we do still have these discards which get displayed, which is a nice feature, especially since it moves so fast. It's one less thing to worry about. Our opponents, of course, we don't get to see our opponents, as you can see, but we can review what we discarded. So how live are we to Fantasyland here? I mean, it looks like there's a lot of kings live, so 3 kings live, that's good. It's still 2 aces. Just 1 queen, but we got one of them, so we'll play that here. And I think with all those kings being live, then I'm just going to lock up the middle and hope to get running kings. Especially since 8s are completely dead. Yeah. I mean, it's true that there are some live 5s, so by putting the 5 up top, we would have given ourselves a chance to scoop, but I think that the value of playing for the bigger running pair is higher here, especially since we're going to beat their queen highs a lot anyway. So it seems like our Simo has actually did come back. Fouled his hand. Good. All right, so this worked out pretty well. I think we scooped. Excellent. So as you can see, it's really bad not to be there in this tournament. All right, so now he's got an interesting option. I think he's going to just play all 4 and put the king up top, which is probably what I would do. I would definitely put the king up top, not in the middle, though. All right, interesting. Wow, I love this. Well, know what I'm going to do here. Especially with 1 king dead, it's very clear that I'm going to play for this Fantasyland set. And try to get one of the queens and go to Fantasyland. I mean, our jacks are live. Kings in the middle. It's beautiful. Obviously, the other option would be to put the kings and the jacks in the back and then put the queen up top. But I don't like that as much because we've got a really great opportunity here. No, this is a very clear play by him. I love pairs in open face in the back, but when you have the 3 flush and the independent pair, then it's a pretty clear play. Wow, every single club is live. So, gamble that he's going to get one of them. Yeah, I do think that putting the king in the middle here for him is a bit too conservative. Although, now that kings are mostly dead, I guess, he's probably not that upset about it. So all of our jacks are still live, which is really nice. Just in the interest of going a little faster, it's kind of useful while we're waiting for him to play to look at some of our kickers and think about what we would do with certain cards. How about the interesting thing here is our jacks are usually oh, that's nice. 9. I got my queen right away, and I'm going to qualify so frequently here, which is beautiful, especially with my 9s being 100% live. And my jacks are totally live. I mean, it would be very difficult for us not to qualify here, especially since we can, if everything goes awry and we don't get one of our 5 outs, 80% we're going to get one of them. And that doesn't even count the fact that if things go poorly at some point, we can, go for plan B and just get a pat pair. But of course, we just immediately get the jack. Not too shocking. And now we're going to go for big hands and, try to beat competing 2 pairs. So our opponent's hand looks like a bit of a train wreck over here. Like the sevens in top, it does not look like this is a very good player, to say the least. I think you see why I would want to put that king up top earlier and then get the sevens in the middle. Although, of course, kings are dead, but he had no way of knowing that at the time. So this is good. We're going to Fantasyland. Actually, I've played this is maybe my 6th tournament on Tonybet, and I don't think this is my first time in Fantasyland. So maybe I've been playing too conservatively, or just running bad. One of those two. Alrighty. So let's see. What do we want to do here? We got to lock something up. We're really not going to foul here ever, so it doesn't really matter that much. We maybe want to keep 2 pair possibilities open in the middle because of our opponent might beat us, and we don't want to foul, so let's just make that 6s super live. It's good. 6s are super live, so if he gets 8s and some other pair, we can beat him with kings and 6s, so that's why I'm doing this. And we're still live for our quads. Oh, so Mr. Ovalava has timed out. So maybe that's what happened earlier. Okay, now I understand more. All right, beautiful. So it worked out, although he got trip 8, so I guess it's kind of irrelevant. He needs to just make his flush now. But, man, there's not a lot of 8, 10. Yeah, so he's only got 1 out, which he got. All right, but this still turned out pretty well for us. So here we are. We're in Fantasyland. See how this goes. We got a minute and a half. I'm not sure how the sorting works here, so hopefully it won't be too complicated. All right. Okay, so we got trip jacks and trip 7s. First of all, can we get 7s up top? Damn, we got a good hand. No, we can't. We don't have a flush. We can get boat though. Or we can get aces. Oh yeah, well, we're going to get boat and then aces up top. That's a pretty good hand. Wow. We're going to clobber them, guys. All right, let's make sure that we didn't miss anything. All right, no, I think we're good. I'm just going to keep looking anyway, because that's the type of person I am. Just to make sure. We had all sorts of flushes, but the flushes would interfere with us, with our trip. So we had no way of getting trips up top and staying, but can't really complain with this hand. Now we get to watch them play. This is fun. So Mr. Ovalova has come back. I don't know. I probably wouldn't play it like that. Just put the ace in the middle or something. It's not a very good hand, to be fair, though. I mean, he's just so ambitious. I guess, he's so ambitious to go for 2 flushes. If I played it this way, I probably would stick just the 6 in the middle. So at least I had the opportunity to make kings or queens up top, leave myself some space, and just try to get 2 pair in the middle. As for Alex Simo, of course, he played the hand fine. We're just going to crush everybody in this hand. So starting off well. Okay. So yeah, he really had a terrible draw here. It's like, it always feels so weird in Pineapple when you can't do anything useful. So yeah, he did get his king up top, and now he just locked up his top, and yeah, this hand is just not going well for him. Yeah, I do have a lot of blockers to both his flush and his aces and his 8, so I guess it's not that surprising that he didn't get there, or he's not going to get there very often. All right, so there's 93 players and 13 places paid. I think there's about €2 up top, €2.50, maybe 3. Pretty exciting. I hope we can find a table of this. That would be fun. Get into like a really big heads up match. I'd like to make that happen for you guys. Okay, good. So he fouled, Mr. Ovalova. We're crushing everybody anyway. We're scooping and 21, 27 royalty points. So big hand for us. Excellent. So as we saw before, the way these tournaments work, getting to Fantasyland, you're just really wiping people out. Free roll structure, can't really complain though. In some ways, I think it would be a bit more fun without Fantasyland, actually. Although that changes things so much. I feel like maybe a bonus for Fantasyland is kind of a compromise. Like you could add 8 points or something if you get to Fantasyland. Like just make anything queens or higher an 8-point bonus. But I guess that's not as much fun for people. So now out Simo. Well, sophisticated play here, just playing that ace up top. I like that because the 10s is a good enough pair that it's going to be really easy for us to make pairs in the middle. I don't think everybody makes that play. A lot of people still just instinctively play their aces in the middle and then put like a kicker in the back, which I'm not sure that's bad either, but I do like the way he played it. All right, so the question here, are we going to go for our flush idea? I think so. And we'll have a backup plan also of getting a 4 so that in case like we need a lower flush here in the middle. A reasonable number of our clubs are dead, so. But that doesn't mean we're necessarily going to. We didn't really have a lot of other options, right? What are we going to do? Like, I guess we could have put like one of the cards up top or something, but it's just like our hand. The biggest potential in our hand right now looks to be playing in this like aggressive way. Oh, good, it worked out for us. So now we've got a bunch of 4s for the straight. When I say a bunch, I mean 4. Wow, that's a lot. It's a lot of 4s. And we need a heart underneath a king. So the king and the ace of heart won't be good. And that leaves us with 3, I believe, right? We've got the queen, then the 8, none of these cards. I'm just going to play really low cards here so that we don't foul as much. We're almost rarely going to foul, right? If we had in a hand, in an earlier hand I had here, we had an ace up top in this spot, and later I questioned whether I should even bother putting the ace up top, even though it gave us like an out to Fantasyland, because it gave us more foul outs, right? How can we not get there? We still have 3 4s. Obviously, people might have discarded some 4s, but. So again, we've got 2 hearts live now because the queen of hearts is now dead. That's bad. Oh, no, good. Yay, so something good happened here. So with such a low, so many low cards in our hand, we did pretty well here. And in fact, I think we're scooping. Yeah, normally you don't see a lot of 6s up top or like lower pairs in open face Pineapple, just because people are constantly going for like kings or aces. So it's a bit of a way ahead, way behind type situation in open face that if you do get 6s, you're either playing against like an ace or a king high that wanted to get to Fantasyland or a kings or queens that got there. So it's not that surprising that you win with it. All right, so interesting. So Alcimo now has a choice. Does he put the 7? I think I just throw the 7 in the middle also. I mean, I understand you're trying to go like 3 flush, but I don't know. It seems kind of unrealistic, and it takes out valuable real estate in the top where you might want to put a king or a queen, a king and a queen some of the time. It's probably not too bad. Okay, no, I'm a big fan of pairs, especially when they're live, and even though it's 3 flush, 2 flush, which makes it a little closer, I still think I'm going to go for the pair setups, especially with all the queens being live, which makes me happy too. Yeah, 1 jack dead and 6 all completely live. That's close because it's a really awkward card to put in the back, the 6s, because of the 2 pair situation. So I think I'm going to put the jack in the back anyway. This is kind of like the perfect card to put in the back so that we can make 6s in some other pair and 2s and jacks, or, you know, with all of our 2s live, we're going to get there that way a lot as well. So now one of our 6s is dead, and we need to be a little bit careful on the time bank. I feel like I babbled a little bit longer than usual for that opening set. And now we've got a minute for, 4 moves, so we don't want to run out of time here. This is our tournament. Got this one. Probably one of the chip leaders. Very exciting. Current leader's got 4,380. Kilgore, I'm coming for you. Such a fishy thing to do to check the chip leader at this spot, but I'm still pretty excited about it. Oh wow, look at that. That worked out for me. So I did get that jack, and now 2 4s are dead and 1 10 is dead. So I'm going to put the 10 in the middle. And that's what was really nice about having the jacks in the back, that any pair goes in the middle. It's a little awkward when some of the jacks are dead, but it is it's the most beautiful pair to have in the back. Because now we know what to do with every one of our cards. Although, let's see, aces are 2 dead and kings are 2 dead. So so I'm not totally sure what I would do if I get one of those cards. Oh wow, he's being super aggro here. Well, now it's clear because I've got the 10, and I'm going to just put the king here and hope that I run out to pair case king. Although 5s are pretty live. I don't want to run out of time. That's also an important thing. I got only 30 seconds for 2 moves left. But I think I made the right decision. Even it's tricky because there's only 1 live king and there are 3 live queens. So there's some argument for putting that 5 in the middle to try to make the 5 and get the extra out to Fantasyland. I mean, to get that road to Fantasyland. I don't know. It's kind of this instinctual thing where you put the king up top, but it might have been the incorrect play in this situation. As we see now, I did get the 2 and I got a queen. So should I go for it? Let's see. 10s are dead. 6s are 2 live. I think I'm going to wimp out because that guy fouled. And I don't have time to figure it out. Sorry, guys. It's a really lame excuse. Yeah, I guess that's the kind of thing I should be thinking about when it's not my turn. So I would have, so earlier, as you see, if I had played the 5 in the middle like I had suggested, that would have given me enough outs to kind of cavalierly go for Fantasyland in that spot. But what can you do? You need to make decisions quickly in this game. And I think one of the problems is I'm not being quite aggro enough here because I've got this like heads up mentality where the outs don't count for as much. So that's why I'm really glad to be playing, because I think that I'm going to start getting more comfortable with that math, which is so key. This hand kind of plays itself so far. On the other hand, that guy's hand was so bad. Oh God. Ace is not very live, but I'll still take the 1 outer to it, since 8s aren't live either, and then I'll put the 7 here. So I'm going to try to make 2 pair and kings. Okay, step 1 achieved. We can get the king, and now we're heads up. He's only got 1150 though, so let's see. So now we're heads up, and I said I'm more comfortable with heads up. I think that I should gamble here, because we've got just so many outs. No, sorry. I'm not gambling. What the fuck am I talking about? Sorry, guys. For some reason, I hallucinated and thought I was thinking that these were direct outs. They're not. So no, we've got some redraws here though, so that's good. Definitely not gambling here. I think I'm still stuck on that hand from before. I'm like kind of bothered by it, which is not good. Let's try to get it out of my head and go back. Maybe in a future video, I'll take a screen capture of that and we can discuss. So now he needs to get a jack or a queen to get to Fantasyland or a pair, and he got there. So despite getting a boat, we lose a lot of points in this hand, and he gets to Fantasyland. So Vart 51 has to keep waiting because he's in Fantasyland, so he doesn't have to play against somebody else's Fantasyland. Okay, it kind of plays itself. Oh, okay. I guess we'll gamble. Because as we know, if we don't, it's like I'm not thrilled about it, but you know, if we don't gamble, we're just going to get scooped too much. So well, this is a pretty good start because now we have some direct outs to get to Fantasyland, which is nice. Okay, getting better all the time. I'm going to put the queen here because kings is such a typical hand in open face. It's a right kicker decision because if we get the flush, then we can make 2 pair in the middle, but we did not, so sad. He probably has a diamond flush. Okay, so that's not too bad for a Fantasyland hand, especially one in which we fouled. He only had 8 royalty points, so it could have been a lot worse. All right, here we go. Pretty easy one to set. Not a great hand, but good things can happen. All right, so he's got, I think the way I'd play this is I'd put the 6s in the back with the 8. I'd put the tray and the ace in the middle. I think that the difference here is that the 6s is such a low pair that I like putting, it makes me want to put the ace in the middle more. It's nice that all of his pair outs are totally live. The ace, the 6, the 3. I think I definitely put the 6s with the 8. I think he might have misclicked or something because this does not make any sense at all. I think he meant to put the 3 in the middle and the ace up top, which is a pretty aggro set. I like it more. I like always considering putting the ace up top, but I definitely like it more when your pair in the back is bigger. So I'm just going to put the king up top and the ace in the middle. Yeah, he must have missed that. It doesn't make any sense at all. I think the 3 was supposed to go in the middle. Or maybe he timed out, like placed some of his cards and then, I don't know, it's so weird. So what do we got over here? We got a pair of 10s, 9, 3, 6. Yeah, I don't like that. I think that it just doesn't really make a lot of sense. Okay, we got our flush, good. Should we put a pair or should we, let's see, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we still got 4 flush cards. You know what? I'm going to be wimpy in this spot because what we really want is an ace king anyway. I think it's pretty close though. With 4 outs, we're going to get there most of the time. But the thing is, some of our outs, we actually want the spade as well, like the ace of spades. I kind of want the ace of spades for the middle, and I want the king of spades for for Fantasyland, possibly. So, yes, the Jack of Spades is a good card, but there are other good cards that are spades that we would have to use for the back as well. So we got the 2 and the 7, so hopefully he fouls this time. I mean, yeah, you can now see the 3s are totally dead, so it doesn't really matter, but obviously the 3 belongs in the middle, so he can at least make 2 pair. Now he needs to make a 2 pair lower than 8s, which is exactly why I feel like this set is more ambitious when you have the lower pair, because it's just harder to qualify. But he did get 2 excellent cards that give him some outs, right? He got the 5. There's 2 live 5s and 2 live 4s, and he doesn't even know that I have one of the 5s. So he's in pretty good shape here to get back to Fantasyland again. Unfortunately. Okay, so at least we got 7s up top, a nice little bonus royalty. Unexpected. And also, it'll be nice that we beat him in the middle if he qualifies, and he usually will. Yeah. Gosh, I can't believe he plays so bad. But I think that must have been a misclick, so I can't really fault him too much. All right, so we're getting taken back to Fantasyland, and Bard is almost completely dead. So we're really just essentially playing against one opponent. We're playing for just a few points against him. I mean, just 2 points. So we should play our regular style against Fantasyland, which is that hand values change because our opponent's average hand strength is going to be so strong. How are we doing? 61 players, right? So 61 players left and 21 tables. Still feeling good about this, guys. Let's just hope we don't get mauled in this Fantasyland hand. So we're playing at 70 a point now. So we really don't have a lot of points in front of us. That's the problem. Like, if he gets a good Fantasyland hand, we're just going to be out of it. All right, so this one's pretty easy to set. I mean, he has no points, so I mean, this is kind of like an interesting spot when he's so short stacked. Okay, this started out well. I'll put the 9 here, and now this is like, should I put the 3 in the middle so that if I get a boat, I can make a wheel, or should I just like put the king in the up top? I think I'm just going to put the king up top. It's tough because the 3 is totally live, so I can also make a lot of nice 2 pairs. So I don't know. Actually, I think this one's pretty close. Very tricky one. I don't know. I'm going to put the 3 in the middle, actually. I think it's a pretty close one, though. Because it's just such a perfect 2 pair situation for me. I really want to play all 3 cards. I've got the 9, yay. And I'll put the 10 up top. So unfortunately, I can't win the full amount against Vart 51 with this boat. So really, the boat is only saving against this guy. Well, this is a great run out. Even though 4s are almost completely dead, it's still nice to have that 1 adder to the 4, and then of course the ace king possibility. Oh, now 4s really are dead. Boo. Okay, so yeah, nothing much happened here. I'm just gonna have to play this way. And again, hope that Simo's Fantasyland hand isn't too painful. We will find out soon. Not really too concerned with him because Okay, yeah, that wasn't too bad. Great. So we only lost a little bit from that man. Dodging bullets. Alright, so this one's really easy. Jack, Jack, 6, Ace, King. For sure. I'm not sure. Definitely putting. No, I don't like that. Because the whole point of putting the ace and the king like that is, okay, you must be listening, is that you're trying to make a two pair and then just make an ace and a king a lot of the time. So this is not a situation where you're trying to privilege the middle pairs. You want to make two pair in the back as quickly as possible. Now, of course, you could put the 6 in the middle and then you could get a pat pair to put in the back and be live to the boat. So it's not like it's that terrible. I just don't really like it. Okay. Hearts and diamonds are equally dead. So I could just play the straight right away. Or I could play the 4 straight and like just launch the queen here, but 2 7's dead. I just play the straight. It's funny. I'd normally be a little bit excited about getting a straight if I was playing regular open face, but it's, it's kind of cool though that I get so early because now I have a free hand. I can make like trips or something, but it's not such a great hand. All right, well this is looking really good for Mr. Alex Simo. He's gonna get the fantasy land again almost all of the time. I think I'm just gonna stick all of these in the middle. We've got some opportunities, of course. Oh, sorry. What am I thinking? I can't put all 3 of them in the middle. 6 5. I guess the 6 is more likely to be live because if he had a 6, he might have placed it there. And then, yeah, let's do that. Although his last 2 cards were ace and king, so if he had a 6, would he have held off on playing the king up top? Probably not. So actually, we don't really have that much information about the 6s at this point. Okay, so you put a queen in the back because he was starting to get worried about not qualifying. Well, first of all, I probably would have just put the 9 in the middle because it leaves him more flexibility for later if he happens to catch like 2 aces in a pair. So I think that's an error for sure. Put the 9 put whatever random card in the middle, and with 2 6s live and his jack's dead. Yeah, I guess I can't really argue with the queen in the back and that much. Because we'll put the 8 in the middle. It's pretty live. It's 2 live, and then we've also got 2 5s and 2 6s still left. So our middle is looking pretty good to get 2 pair. Avart's hand is confusing as normal. I was paying a lot more attention to Ausixmo here. All right, well, I know we got a lot of outs here, although it seems like some of them were taken on our last card, but our straight's not that valuable, so we can go for this. So we still have 2 8s, we still have a 5, and we still have a 6. So 4 outs here is plenty to gamble. Especially since we're not gambling with our, see, I told you so. You could have gotten a pat pair. This hand just is a total train wreck. Wow, they both fouled. Cool. And we got there. As long as we can play the hands in time. Sweet. That was a big hand for us. And we get fantasy land. But everybody is like so crushed that the fantasy land's not going to mean that much. So yeah, this is like a really interesting like thing that needs to be figured out. How much these fantasy lands are actually worth. So we've got a flush and we've got trips. So we can make a boat and then a flush. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I guess that's what we'll do because that's a lot of points.
Okay, that was fun. So the first part of this video, we've really run up our stack, and we're going to see what happens next time. This is Jen Shahade, and I look forward to your comments and questions, and I'll see you next time for the second part of this video.